Hello, everybody. This is Duron Van. I'm coming live with you guys with Coach Carter and Mr. Kevin Crawford. Coach Crawford, how y'all doing today?
Doing good, man.
All right, hey guys, I just want to appreciate you coming on my show, guys, before the lights. Um, Coach Carter, man, if you don't mind, man, can you just give me a little background on yourself and your coaching and playing career?
Well, my name is Xavier Carter. I've been coaching this will be my 18th year coaching football. Um, Played high school, didn't play no collegiate or what have you. I've been coaching since 2004. I started off at Liberty City Optimist, coached at Glen Cherry in Miami, Florida. And I started off at a small school with Darryl Bethune, who was my head coach at Miami Springs. I was an assistant officer coordinator there. I coached at Doral Academy in Miami, Florida with Corey Smith, my late brother. And I coached at Highland High, coached at Miami High, coached at some great schools or whatever. I'm offensive minded. Well, coach both sides, defense and offense. Won a couple of championships on the park level. Won a national championship at Liberty City with Tutu Atwell, and coached some of the great names in 707, whatever. Been around some of the great names like Jerry Judy, Ja'Cory Brooks. Those guys are very special. I'm glad to see them doing the great things they're doing well, one's going to the league and one is already in the league.
Right.
So it's I take football as you can learn from anybody. So I just want to just keep giving these young kids what I got into me until it's time for me to just say, don't put my whistle and hang it up.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. So, Mr. Crawford, man, can you just run us down, man? Your very impressive background and, what do you got going on with the sport?
So my name's Kevin Crawford. I played high school football at Garfield, and that's in Woodbridge, Virginia. Then after that, I played at UVA, University of Virginia, from 05 to 09. Mm-hmm. Then after that, I played, I needed some more film. So I went to Division II school, California University in Pennsylvania, played there for 2 years. We won 2 conference championships and went to the playoffs both years. What else? Then I had my draft day, and then I went to, what did I say? I went to the Steelers practice team for a little while. Then after that, got cut, went to the Richmond Raiders semi-pro team, went there, tore my calf, got cut. Then I was going to go to the San Jose SaberCats. And I decided to kind of just, at that point in my career, in terms of me playing. Mm-hmm. So I ended my career there. After that, I kind of just went on a stint of different jobs, trying to figure out where I was going to land my feet. Mm-hmm. And, that's a long story to tell to where I'm at now, but that's pretty much my football story. I've been coaching for probably about 2 years. I coached, I say probably 3 years, actually. I coached a Pee Wee team. We went to the championship. It was in Woodbridge, Virginia, mm-hmm. the Cowboys. And then the next year I moved to Charlottesville. Then I coached the Albemarle Patriots. They were 12-13. So I would say instead of Pee Wee, I did 12-13. We won the championship last year, mm-hmm. and this year. So we won it 2 years in a row. And that's it so far in terms of football, because I kind of just separated with them. Right. So I'm kind of just looking around. I got ex-teammates who kind of coach the high school team. Mm-hmm. So I was working with the feeder team. And as we all know, Coach Elliott is the new coach of UVA, and I live in Charlottesville. So I've been doing a lot of alumni stuff, showing up at the facility for a lot of different things. He's really inclusive. So that's where I'm at right now with everything.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, man. Both of you guys have a wealth of knowledge, and you got experience on both ends of the spectrum, right? Where Coach Carter, you've coached the guys that are getting ready, prepared to go to college. You got a guy that you coached that's in the league. You played college at a high level, right? You went to the league tryouts. And, one of the things on my show that I like to get the information out there for the young athletes, is what they need to be on the lookout for when they're getting ready to pick a school. So, Coach Carter, I go to you with the kids that you coach, right? The ones that went on and played, because obviously down in Miami, that's just a hotbed, and everybody goes on to play some. You pretty much you start down there, right? You go into a college to play somewhere, right? What is something that you try to get the advice to kids on to look out for when they're getting ready to pick a school to go?
The main thing is you need to go to a school that love you instead of a school that like you.
Right.
Like you could use Kevin, for example. He went to UVA. They loved him. If he'd have went to, let's say he go to Clemson, they liked him.
Right.
Next year they trying to recruit somebody better than Kevin.
Right.
They trying to. He's a 5 tech, and next thing you know, they recruiting another 5-star 5 tech coming in after him. And it's like, well, damn, why I committed here and y'all trying to replace me? Like,
right.
So the main thing down there in Miami, Florida, and by me being down there in Miami, Florida, me coaching down there, I seen a lot of bless the receiver off of fugazi is what we used to call it, a food cheddar.
Right.
The bless the receiver off of the head, and then come your 11th grade year when it's time to take the official visit, they ain't picking up the phone no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of colleges prostitute these kids to get other kids.
Right.
So what they'll do, they'll use you. Okay, yeah, they'll offer you for right now.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the next school to offer that same kid or whatever, that one of your teammates or somebody you done grew up in the neighborhood with, to see which one they could pull in or whatever, or have. Because at some time, like now, a lot of these colleges now, by kids don't have to sit out no more.
Mm-hmm.
Portal is hurting a lot of these kids coming straight out of high school.
Right. So
you got to be damn near Frank Gore coming out of high school.
Right.
The receiver a Division I scholarship, and for them to still acknowledge their scholarship, because a lot of these head coaches at these universities are playing hot potato.
Right.
So it's not like these coaches stand or whatever. They going for the dollar too. It's a business.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you look at Mel Tucker's story. His story should tell a lot to a lot of people. Mel Tucker was the DC for Kirby Smart at Georgia. Just waiting his turn to get called.
Mm-hmm.
He got to call at Colorado. Turn Colorado around. Now the guy at Colorado now is reaping the fruits of Mel Tucker's labor.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Tucker goes to Michigan State first year. They talk bad all about the guy. This is the second year they won the Big Ten title.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't even get no invite to the what is called
the playoffs.
They didn't even get a call for that. But they did deserve it because they lost more games. But it's just that these kids gotta make the right decision and the best decision. There's nothing wrong with going to Division II.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong going to Division I. Nothing wrong going to D3. But you gotta make sure it's a school where they love you and want you for all 4 to 5 years, instead of it's like best man gonna start. They get you and they say, I'm gonna use Kevin. They get a Kevin, mm-hmm. and then Deron. Both of y'all play defensive end at the same side and everything.
Right.
Y'all both battling from freshman year all the way to senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's time for pro day and a draft or whatever. And both of y'all one of y'all gonna look sick, and one gonna get picked up, and one gonna get on the practice squad.
Right.
So these kids gotta understand that it's a business, and what you put on your social media, and some of these kids' parents is the reason why they lose scholarships, lose offers.
Mm-hmm.
On the bag, parents be wanting this, want that, etc. or whatever. What could you do for me? What about your child education?
Right.
University entities are almost $300,000 for 4 years minimum. Florida A&M is $336,000 for 4 years. University of Miami is $428,000, and that's a private university.
Right.
Bethune-Cookman, one of the most prestigious universities in Florida, is only $286,000. But a lot of kids don't want to go to Bethune-Cookman because they think that, it's HBCU and I ain't gonna get seen on TV.
Right.
Jackson State just tore down all those barriers.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
Mississippi State done tore down all those barriers.
Right. Absolutely.
State did tear down that barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at South Carolina State, they've been tore down the barrier.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've been kicking tail for the last you could say 10 to 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta get these kids to understand like what these two young men just did with Travis Hunter and the other young man that just announced where he was going to Jackson State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then another receiver from University of Miami them transferred to Jackson State. Jackson State gonna like they gonna be like the Alabama of HBCUs in a minute.
Right. Right.
And it's not gonna be where like people scared to go to HBCU. It's gonna be where these kids gonna be like, you know what? Why not?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
That's the better place to go if you really think about it. I mean, well,
now you got the big name schools.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got the big name schools like you got the Clemson, you got the Alabamas, you got them like this now with their hands folded like,
right. Yeah.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
But you got coaches like this is why I say I talk a lot of crap about Nick Saban, but I respect him.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing bad about Deion when Deion got Travis Hunter to go to Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
You got the other coaches saying, well, why did he go to Jackson State? He could have went there. But and we gotta stop letting these big name universities or whatever prostitute our kids,
right,
and get paid off these kids. Because when these schools go to these bowl games, the school get paid, not the kids.
Right.
Like that's why a lot of if you notice the bowl game this bowl season 2021-2022. A lot of schools was backing out, but they'll say it was COVID. They were saying it was COVID because the check wasn't that big.
Right.
So if it wasn't no Peach Bowl or a bowl where it's like a New Year's Day bowl, they were backing out.
Mm-hmm.
I think only I could attest to them, but my little brother even had COVID. So had almost like 15 players with COVID, so they couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these other schools just be sent back just like I don't get it. Like, and then what they're gonna do? It's the time now. It's recruiting time. It's January.
Mm-hmm.
Signing day is in literally 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Now is that the last one? Because I know they just had the early sign, so the last one's in 2 weeks, right? Okay.
Literally 2 weeks and a half.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these kids gonna be sick because they ain't got nowhere to go.
Right.
Because the blessed to receive the offer or my top 6 or this such and such. Now it comes signing day, you only got one hat on the table or 2 hats on the table, wishing and praying that they fax that letter of intent over
right.
night before.
Right.
Never know what I'm talking about. Right. So they don't understand. Like it's physical. Like your life is in your hand when you turn 18 and you sign that letter of intent.
Right.
Like Roman noodles and Kool-Aid gonna be your best friend.
Right.
But they don't understand that. So some of these parents be misinformed and the kid get misinformed. That's why I'm glad I'm with a dude like Leonard Stevenson, with perfect performance or whatever. Like I am known in the 7-on-7 world. Yes, right. I was with Florida Fire down in Miami. Or with Dennis Miracle, my great friend or whatever, J.R. Bryant, all those guys, real good guys. Delane Powell, those some good guys. But while me getting up here, I seen the disservice that these kids was getting.
Right.
I see coaches just coaching just to say they coaches.
Right.
Like you can't say, okay, I'm a coach, I'm a running back coach if you don't know the elements of coaching running back.
Right.
Like I would never step on Kevin's toes of a D lineman that played D lineman, know the technique, know the craft. Yeah, I coached before, I played it before, but he played it in collegiate level.
Right.
He learned at the collegiate level that he could bring down to the high school, down to the part level.
Right.
And to tutor, to get a kid the tutelage or whatever to learn from him. But some of these, like, it starts with the parents.
Right.
Taking the kids to certain programs or certain high schools that take football for recreation. This is a business for us. A lot of these kids, and then some kids do play for just to say, okay, they play high school football. Some kids play this to say, I gotta get myself out of a certain situation or go to somebody's school to better myself so I can at least make a minimum of 40K a year.
Right.
40K a year by 2024 ain't gonna be number like flush it down the toilet money.
Right.
So we gotta like stop letting these coaches disservice these kids, and and start teaching these parents, okay, certain things to say when college coaches come to your house, certain things not to say when college coaches come to your house. If they gonna come in there with the BS, well, we want to give you a verbal, we automatically know that holds no weight.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not his 11th year and it's official, don't let him waste your time or your child's time.
And I appreciate that, man, because a lot of people don't have, that type of information, you know what I'm saying, about, what to look for, the verbals and all that kind of stuff and wasting time. Coach, I appreciate that. Now, Kevin, from you, actually going through the recruiting process, what was, some advice that you can give the kids, or what's some things that you look for and maybe that you would have done differently, or, from now, looking back at it and what you would have did the same?
So one of the main things I would say, I like you were saying earlier, make sure that you fit the program. That's probably the biggest thing out of everything, because for me, I was still, what's kind of funny is I was still relatively successful, right? Having played only one high school year of football, and then I only played 1 year my junior year, and then having done that and then going to college and still being relatively successful, not knowing that I was a 4-3 D lineman and going to a 3-4 school and things like that. Those things matter way more than people realize, because when you get to college, you're a specialist, right? Like, so when I get to college, they recruit me for a position, and I need to be amazing at that position when I'm at that position, and that's it.
Right.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. In high school, I went both ways. I played tight end, left tackle, guard. I mean, because when you're one of the best athletes, you tend to play not just both sides, but a lot of spots, right?
Right.
And so you don't understand that that's not normal, right? When you go to college, you're a specialist. You focus on what you're doing. You go 1,000 miles an hour, then you stop. Then you go 1,000 miles an hour, then you stop, right? And you learn that in college, but it's something that I think people should tell players as they're going to college. Hey, the speed of the game is going to change quite a bit, and you're going to focus on one position. So make sure that the school you go to really focuses in terms of for you on that position. So like when you go there, you're like, okay, I like this position coach. Say if you're a wide receiver, you're like, I like this wide receiver coach.
Right.
What do they do in terms of scheme offensively? Okay, how much have they thrown the ball in the last 3 or 4 years, right? What kind of offensive coordinator do they have? If you're a defensive guy, okay, what's their defensive scheme? That's huge for you as a defensive player. Like that's your bread and butter. That's everything, right? Like if they don't run your defensive scheme, then what's the point? If like I just told you, if they run 3-4 defense and you're a 4-3 D lineman, that's 2 different types of body styles in D lineman, right? So you need to understand that the insides and intricacies of the game to know that this is a right fit, right? It's not just a feeling thing, right? Because your feelings are going to lie to you sometimes, right? So you really want to make sure, yeah, I feel good, but also look at the logical aspect of it. Look at it on paper. Does it make sense on paper as well?
Right.
So going through it, I didn't realize I got a lot of fair weather offers, you could say, but I guess I kind of did, because Ohio State was definitely one of the people that, I mean, every day there was something in my mailbox, but I didn't get an official offer for them.
Okay.
Tennessee gave me a verbal offer to play outside linebacker.
Right.
I never got an official offer for them, right? Like a lot of schools actually. I never got official offers, but a lot of schools, if you look me up, you'll see I got official offers from a lot. But I also was a few that I was interested in that I got a lot of letters from that I never got an official offer from.
Right.
So that's an aspect of it that you guys also, hit on that I'll go ahead and reiterate, is that make sure that if you don't have a paper offer, It's not an offer, right?
Right.
So even if the coach comes up to you and says, the head coach, because this happened, I think Kent State did this, and he was the only one who was serious, right? They might even come and say, I have a scholarship for you right now, right? If they say that and they actually have paperwork with it, then they're not bluffing. But if they say that, it's all air. You need to understand it's all air unless there's paperwork with it. So, that's two of the things. I started out with one, but those are two of the things that I would say I would focus on. Like I said, make sure that the team fits you, and make sure, like what you guys said, reiterating on that, make sure that you fit the team, and make sure that you got the right situation, and that they don't lie to you. You know what I mean? Make sure that your paperwork matches what they say, right? If you got an offer, you should have something in paperwork that matches, so that you can, end of your junior year, you can start doing what you got to do. You know what I mean? Making sure your paperwork is in order, making sure your clearinghouse is in order, making sure, what I mean? There's a clearinghouse, right? Like that's something that that we talked about personally, that I didn't realize a lot of people didn't know. Like, they don't talk about clearinghouses and making sure that your grades meet a certain level for you to even take college courses, right? So there's that aspect too. And maybe more people talking about it will have more of a focus on it, because I think the academic part of it gets lost a lot, right? And the whole translation of things. Like, you want to make sure you're doing the sports thing, but yeah, also academically, you want to make sure that, this is big. This is big. Make sure that when you actually get into college, that you don't let them push you towards a topic of study just to get you on the field. This is massive. This is massive. And the reason I say that's massive is because I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but I'll say this. I've seen multiple programs where they literally would say, oh, just put him in this class. And the guy would say, oh, I want to take this. He'd be like, but this is an easy A, so just take this class. They literally would tell you that, right? And it's because literally at the end of the day, they want you on the field, okay? Right. So yeah, I'm glad you're getting your education. I'm glad you're getting smarter. Whoop-de-whoop, great, right? But I'll say it like a coach used to say it in the meetings, and I'll end my comment here. Coach used to say, school first, football second. Right. School first, football second. He would look at you and say, school first, football second. Yeah. If that makes any sense, that's pretty much college sports in a nutshell. But if that makes any sense.
Man, that's powerful, man, because I like how both of y'all touched on it, right? About going somewhere that loves you, right? And then how you talk about how they just doing something to get you on the field. But you're right, the education piece of it. When I was coaching back in Florida, Coach Ed Lewis, right? He used to always joke. He would look at the younger kids, and he was and I love him for this. He was instilling this in the younger kids, right? He was like, make sure you get that money, which was the most important thing. And when he was referring to about money, he was talking about that scholarship, right? Because let's look at that. How many college football players are there right now? What, 10,000, somewhere like that, give or take, because almost each program's got 60 kids, if not more. How many are getting drafted every year? 256, 259. And then out of that 256, 259, then they may be signing another 100 as undrafted free agents. That's what? Okay, let's just say give or take 500 people starting fresh into the league every year, right? But you already got 1,500 there that ain't leaving. You know what I'm saying? So the math ain't adding up. 60,000 as opposed to 1,500, right? Because it's 1,500 that they carry on rosters every year. So, a lot of these kids, they don't have, they don't understand, okay, I'm not going to, some of them do, but I'm not going to the NFL. They have to use the advantage to get that free education, right? And I'm glad you guys hit on that. You were solid with that, brother, where you was telling them, hey, make sure it's a class that you want to take and not just get the easy A. And like you said, Coach, $40,000 ain't gonna be nothing in a couple of years, right? These kids need to get this, this free education. So, man, hey, man, I appreciate that, man. And this is definitely the information that we need to be getting out to these kids. I saw one interview, man, and I'll leave it at this, is that it touches on what both of you guys said about picking the right college. And this is Alvin Kamara. He said this in an interview. I can't remember who he was talking to. He said when he first got to Alabama, he was like, he got recruited and he was like, oh yeah, boom, 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 boom. Till he sat down and he started looking at the running back room. And who was in the running back room at the time? It was him. It was Derrick Henry. It was TJ Yeldon. And it was two other dudes he mentioned. I can't remember, but them brothers ended up playing in the league.
Trent Richardson.
Yes, Trent Richardson was there. And Alvin Kamara said it best. He said he looked around the room and he was like, man, it ain't but one football. You know what I'm saying? And like all these dudes I'm in the room with is just as good as me, if not better. You know what I'm saying? Luckily it worked out for him and he ended up transferring to Tennessee. And then you think he was a 4th-round pick or whatnot. And obviously he's playing good football now and it worked out for him. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, y'all. That's very powerful.
But another thing these kids don't like, they be in the blind. Like say okay, like look at Notre Dame.
Right.
Chip Kelly was recruiting a lot of kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
That money got involved, right? They were talking about LSU knocking on the door with all that money or whatever. Man, damn about that. Damn kid, he recruited that man when he got that bag.
Right. Mm-hmm.
See a lot of these, a lot of like when they want, when they recruit you or whatever. But once you done sign that letter of intent to commit to Notre Dame because you think you finna go play for Chip Kelly. Not Chip Kelly, Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly, yeah.
Brian Kelly done signed on with LSU to go get paid.
Right, yeah, you're going to get paid, yeah. Right,
yeah.
You're absolutely right.
That's part of the game too.
Yeah, it is.
That's another part of the game. Now say you the next head coach come in, you ain't his type of guy.
Yeah.
But see, you can't control that one. Yeah, now that's just something you putting the young boys on right now because that's just part of the game, man. Like you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't control. Like you might come in and have a year you balled, right? And then the next year you come in, you're like, oh, I like this system, and then the coach is out because you know what? You ball so much, right? You done got him some shine, right? And so now he's gone, right? Because it's a business. So now he's gone, and you got a new coach, right? And this is actually what happened to me in high school. Like I came out of nowhere, right? I didn't play freshman and sophomore year. I played my junior year. And so I had like 15 sacks and like a ridiculous amount of tackles. And so people said, where did this guy come from? So my coach had already had a guy going to UVA that was a senior ahead of me, right? And so when he produced me, it kind of made him look like, ooh, who was this guy, right? Right. So he ended up getting this new job. And so my senior year, we got a new coach, freshman guy. Greener than me. Right. And we got into it. Because he didn't know what he was doing. Right. To the point where, we had to have a meeting and he didn't want to play me, all kinds of stuff. But long story short, that's exactly the type of stuff that happens, right? And even when you're a good player, right? Like this new coach could have ruined my career, right? Because I'm leaving my senior year. He coming in trying to make his mark and we won 3 games my senior year, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was bad. Like it was that bad, right? And so me and him got into it. And so the coaches didn't care because, another thing too, junior year is the most important year, right? Like that's the year that the colleges really look at because they can't really evaluate your senior year. By the senior year, they need to make their decisions. Right. So, you know what I mean? So you're being evaluated very heavy grade-wise and on the field. Right. About your junior year. That's the year. That's the money year. So, but yeah, that's I just had to say that because that's right. That happened to me. Yeah. I'm glad we got that out, man. And guys, I just want to say thank you, man, for coming on today and doing the interview with me. And like we said, we talked offline. I'm very excited about the project that we talked about that all 3 of us are going to be getting together doing. We got, besides the podcast that the 3 of us are going to be doing together, we talked about some other projects, that we want to get going, man. So I'm really excited, for 2022 for us. And I think it's going to be some good things to come, besides just getting this information out to these kids and the parents, but also the other stuff that we got going on. So everybody, hey, man, please be on the lookout for myself, Xavier, Carter, and Kevin Crawford here, man. We got some big things coming and some stuff that everybody should be really excited about. So I just want to say thank you guys again. And guys, this is Deron Van with Before the Lights. Please, guys, if you like this podcast, want to see more coming, please like and subscribe to me. And guys, you guys take it easy. Y'all guys have a good one. All right.
All right.